Take a second and think about this. Everyone around you right now, your family, your friends, strangers walking past you on the street, not one of them is exactly like you. Not genetically, not physically, not even close. But today we're going to try something different. We're going to build a person on paper using real scientific data. And into this person, we're going to stack the rarest traits ever documented in human beings, things that exist in only 1 or 2 people out of millions. And by the end of this video, you'll know the odds of this person ever actually existing. The number is so big, it barely makes sense anymore. Let's start. We begin with blood. You probably know your blood type, A, B, O, AB. That's the basic system most of us learn in school. But underneath that, there's an entire hidden world, 47 different blood group systems officially recognized by scientists. And within all of them, the rarest of all is something doctors nicknamed golden blood. Its real name is Rh-null. Normal red blood cells are covered in Rh proteins that give them shape and strength. But in an extremely small number of people, due to a rare genetic mutation, every single one of these proteins is missing. Not reduced, gone completely. Now think about what that means. If someone with this blood type ever needs an emergency transfusion, there are only 9 active donors on the entire planet who can help them. 9 for all of humanity. The odds of being born with it, roughly 1 in 6 million. Our rarest possible human just got golden blood. Now let's move to the eyes. Have you ever wondered what the rarest eye and hair combination in the world actually is? It's not black hair with brown eyes. That's actually the most common combination on Earth. It's red hair with blue eyes. Red hair is already rare on its own, found in only 1 to 2% of the global population, caused by a gene called MC1R. Now add blue eyes into the mix, found in roughly 17% of people, mostly concentrated in Northern Europe. When both traits show up in the same person, the probability drops to just 0.17%. That's less than 2 people out of every 1,000. Around 13 million people on the entire planet carry this combination, which sounds like a lot, until you remember there are almost 8 billion of us. What makes it even rarer is that both traits are recessive. Both parents have to secretly carry the exact same hidden genes for their child to end up with this exact look. Our person's eyes, blue, their hair, red. Now let's go inside the brain, or more specifically, inside the eyes. The colors you and I see every day come from 3 types of light-detecting cells inside our eyes. Cells that pick up red, green, and blue. But a tiny number of people, almost always women, are born with a 4th type of cell. This is called tetrachromacy. What that means is where you and I see 1 shade of green, this person might see 10 different shades within that same color. A painting, a fabric, even a sunset looks genuinely more detailed and more colorful to them than it does to anyone else on Earth. This trait is so rare that only a handful of confirmed cases exist worldwide. And because the gene responsible sits on the X chromosome, it's almost never seen in men at all. We're giving this ability to our person too. Now here's a trait that sounds like a superpower, but is actually far more dangerous than it seems. It's called CIPA, Congenital Insensitivity to Pain with Anhidrosis. People born with this condition cannot feel physical pain at all. They could touch fire, break a bone, and feel absolutely nothing. It might sound impressive at first, but pain exists for a reason. It's your body's warning system. Without it, small injuries can turn into serious ones before anyone even notices something is wrong. This condition has only ever been documented in a tiny handful of people across the entire world. Next, let's talk about muscles that never stop growing. Inside your body, there's a protein called myostatin. Its job is to put the brakes on muscle growth, keeping it in check. But in an extremely small number of documented cases, a genetic mutation disables that brake completely. The result is unusual muscle mass and strength from early childhood, without ever stepping into a gym. Confirmed cases of this exist in only a few families on record, some of them tracked across multiple generations. Now, it's time for the final calculation. Here's what we've built so far. Golden blood, 1 in 6 million. Red hair with blue eyes, roughly 1 in 588. Tetrachromacy, extremely rare, mostly limited to a small number of women. CIPA, documented in only a handful of people worldwide. The myostatin mutation, just as rare. When you multiply all of these independent probabilities together, the way scientists actually calculate these numbers, the final figure becomes so large it needs a word most people have never even heard, a decillion. That's a 1 followed by 33 zeros. In simple terms, a person like this is rarer than almost any event you could imagine happening on Earth. Statistically, someone exactly like this has never existed, and realistically, never will. But here's where it gets interesting. The same math we just used, that exact logic, applies to you too. Your height, your smile, your fingerprint pattern, your personality, everything you've lived through, and the exact combination of DNA that came together to make you. When you stack all of that together, you are also mathematically a statistically impossible event. Every single person who has ever been born is, in their own way, the rarest human possible. Their rare traits just aren't listed on some calculator. They're hidden inside the story of their entire life. So here's a question for you. Do you have any trait, physical or genetic, that's unique to just you and your entire family? Because chances are, you might be just as rare as the person we built in this video. If this video made you realize just how rare you actually are, send it to someone who thinks they're just normal. Because according to science, nobody actually is. See you in the next one.